The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This One's Wife, Tao named DOW, by Prince Philip. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Alice Scarzi writes in the Daily Express, Prince Philip nicknamed This One's Wife DOW, because of who she reminded him of. Prince Philip was one of the few people wary of succumbing to This One's Wife's charm offensive when she first joined the royal family, a royal author has claimed in a new book. This will have been the case as a consequence of the fact that the former Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, a narcissist himself, would have seen her overtures as a potential threat to his own control. Furthermore, he would have recognised that the way that she behaved was not sincere, and whilst he may not have necessarily recognised that she was a narcissist, he will have certainly seen similar behaviours in other individuals, causing him to look upon her in a similar light. In the same way, albeit from a different perspective, his wife, Queen Elizabeth, had been well versed in dealing with people of a similar kind of character, which enabled her also as a normal to handle This One's Wife. Prince Philip will also have seen similar behaviours in other individuals, which then caused him to be able to see this isn't genuine behaviour on her part. What we're witnessing here is an act. He'll have seen it many times given the circles that he's moved in. The late Duke of Edinburgh, known for his no-nonsense approach to life, reportedly did not see eye to eye with Queen Elizabeth II when it came to the Duchess of Sussex. Rather, he drew a parallel in his mind between This One's Wife and Wallace Simpson, the American twice-divorced socialite behind the constitutional crisis that rocked Britain in 1936, author Ingrid Seward claimed. In an extract from her new book titled My Mother and I, Ms. Seward alleged Prince Philip dubbed This One's Wife DOW, or Duchess of Windsor, the title granted by King George VI to the socialite after Edward VIII's abdication and marriage. The extract, published by the Daily Mail, read, "One of the few wary of succumbing to her charm offensive, however, was Prince Philip. While the Queen continued to champion Harry's new love, he warned his wife to be cautious. It was uncanny, he told her, how much This One's Wife reminded him of the Duchess of Windsor." He wasn't simply referring to the fact that both were pencil-slim, dark-haired and glamorous American divorcees. There was a wealth of subtext in his barbed remark. While the late Queen, Miss Seward claimed, had high hopes for what the Duchess of Sussex might have achieved for the Commonwealth, her husband never appeared to change his mind about This One's Wife. The writer added, from the moment he detected her apparent similarity to Wallace, he referred to her as DOW, short for Duchess of Windsor. Miss Seward, whose book will be released on February the 15th, believes the late Queen would have been perfectly aware of what Philip meant when he drew parallels between This One's Wife and Wallace, given she was directly affected by the Americans' love story with Edward VIII. Mrs. Simpson became one of the most controversial figures in modern royal history after Edward VIII decided to abdicate in December 1936 to be able to marry her. Handed the title of Duchess, but not Her Royal Highness style, Mrs. Simpson and her third husband lived for most of their lives in France. The Duchess seemingly harboured spitefulness towards the Queen Mother, who in turn later blamed the untimely death of George VI on the Windsors, feeling being thrust into the role of monarch following the abdication overloaded him with huge and damaging stress. During their years of exile, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor continued to attract headlines and most damagingly visited Nazi Germany in 1937, where they met Adolf Hitler and were photographed giving the notorious Nazi salute. Thus, Wallace Simpson, and of course many people have dubbed this one's wife as Walmart Wallace, seeing her as a cut-price version of the Duchess of Windsor. But here it's explained that the Prince Philip saw the similarities between the two, that it was not a favourable comparison, that he saw certain behaviours of this one's wife were similar to the way that Wallace Simpson had behaved, and it's quite clear why he was able to pick that out. He was not taken in by her. He was wary of the way that she behaved, and was ultimately proven right, as she made life difficult for both him and his wife in their dotage. Another comparison, of course, which is problematic for this one's wife, and one that she'd be well aware of. Naturally, she will just dismiss it, saying that it is the label of somebody that was unpleasant and should have given her a fair chance but did not. But once again, it's another instance of this one's wife being identified, not necessarily by someone as being a narcissist, but being identified for behaving in a particular way, that she showed similarities with another individual who was unpleasant, self-publicizing, self-seeking, and self-serving, that she showed such similarities not just by way of background, but ultimately in the way that she behaved that caused her to receive that nickname. That the Duke of Edinburgh was able to see that she was out for herself, that the way she sought to charm people was unrealistic and was manufactured, that the way that she conducted herself was that it was all about her and that she had no real interest in service. Having seen similar behaviours in Wallace Simpson, the Duchess of Windsor, he witnessed it again with this one's wife, and ultimately has been proven to be correct. Another description for this one's wife, another label that she has received, and yet again another one which is not complimentary. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.